Hi there, and welcome to this week's vlog. Yeah, I've got a bit of a tickly throat, so if my voice sounds a bit weird at times, don't worry, it's not catching. If you've got your antivirus turned on, little joke. About 3 or 4 years ago, I had an email from someone I knew who was a pastor in America, and he said to me that he was about to, or is due to spend about 3 weeks, I think it was, on holiday, on vacation with his family in the UK, and would I be up for going over to Florida and just looking after his church while he was away. All I needed to do was to preach on a Sunday. They had 3 morning services, quite a big church, certainly by UK standards, and just be there and just have access to his home, his car, swimming pool, and just be there and get a little bit involved with church activities, but not any great responsibilities. It didn't take us very long to recognize that was possibly a once in a lifetime opportunity. So off we went to Florida, and we had a great 3 weeks. The people there were lovely and really welcoming. We had a great time enjoying the weather and exploring a little bit. Excuse me. And one of the things one has to do when one is abroad is to think about the language. And of course, Americans speak English, but some of their words are different. They use different words for different things, and some of their expressions are different from what we use. So you've got to be careful about that. I was talking last week to friends at church. She is American, he's English, and they were saying when they first got to know each other, they had to work their way around different uses of words. And apparently she bought a new watch, and as they held hands, her watch scratched his arm. And he said, "That's sharp." And she said, "Well, thank you." And he didn't know what that meant. Why is she saying thank you? Of course, for in America, so if something is sharp, it means it's good. It's a positive word. But of course, he meant it's scratching my arm. It's sharp. So we've got to be careful in how we use words, and not only words that have different meanings in the two countries, but how we pronounce certain words. And we've been going through a series at church on the early chapters of the book of the prophet Isaiah. And of course, we British pronounce it Isaiah, whereas the Americans pronounce it Isaiah. And it's true to say that that's an interesting dilemma, which the pronunciation is right. And the more I thought about it, the more I think that the Americans have got it right. Isaiah. So Isaiah seems to me a more accurate pronunciation than Isaiah. And I was talking about this with our vicar Tom, and saying I think the Americans have got it right. And he said to me, well, the thing is, if you pronounce it Isaiah, then it's a reminder of the heart of Isaiah's prophecy, which is to lift our eyes higher, lift our eyes up to God, not only to recognize who he is, his greatness, but also, especially when we're going through times of trouble, to remember that God is in that with us, that we've lift our eyes to him. And when I was doing the children's talk at church, when I was talking about the pronunciation and Isaiah's message and his call to lift our eyes higher, lift our eyes to God, I showed them an object. There used to be a program on the telly where a panel would sit around and they would be shown a particular object, and they've got to work out what it was, what's its purpose. And I showed the people at church this object and asked them if they could work out what it was. And some thought it might be a ring pull, but as you see, no hole in the middle. If you go into a bathroom or something, sometimes there's a pull and you turn the light on. Could it be a stopper for a bottle? No, that's not right. In fact, nobody guessed what it is. The answer is, I don't know if you've guessed it, what it is. The answer is it's a toilet flush. So in our bathroom, in the toilet, that's the handle you press to make the toilet flush. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I pressed that and the handle came off in my hand, making the toilet unoperative. Fortunately, my brother-in-law David, who's great at fixing things, managed to get a new handle and fix the toilet so it works again. But I use this as an illustration that sometimes the things that we rely on in life, or the things that we trust, I don't know, maybe a friend or our job or our bank balance. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickly throat. So some of the things we trust, we actually find that they're maybe not all that trustworthy. A friend lets us down. We lose our job. We're struggling financially. So those things we once thought were so reliable, we find that they're not so anymore. And the point I was making, that God is the one who is always reliable, always trustworthy. He's the one who promises, I will be with you always. I will never leave you or forsake you. So, I really think that the message of Isaiah, lift your eyes higher, is such an important one. It's a key one. If we are to live our Christian lives, especially in the tough times. Don't focus on your problems so much. Yes, recognize they are problems. They are there, need to be sorted. But lift your eyes higher to the God who has the answers that we need. So from toilet flush to the message of Isaiah, lift your eyes higher. Trust in the one who will never let you down. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening today.